Today we're working on a tutorial of the second movement of the Telemann Concerto for Viola from Suzuki Book 4. Welcome back. Welcome to the studio. My name is Cassie and I'm a professional violist and teaching artist. So today we're going to work through a bunch of spots in this concerto. Why don't we go to playing position? And our first spot is in measure 15. We've got some string crossings under a slur. Now I want us to practice this with open strings first. So I'm going to only be playing my D and G string together as a double stop. So instead of putting my second finger down to play that note F, I'm just doing my open strings. We're taking one thing out to make it a little bit more simple. So let's try that together. Open D and G. Once that feels comfortable, we can add our finger into that. So let's set our low second finger on the D string, and we're still doing double stops here. Again, once that's comfortable, we move on to our next step, which is trying to do them as separate notes as printed. So when we do this double stop, you'll notice that your arm, your elbow is not really changing string levels. Our goal is going to be to keep those string level changes as minimal as possible. So what I don't want to see is this. Your elbow and your lower arm are just doing a little bit too much work. So we're going to do a pattern. We're going to do it first as double stops. Lift, reset, and then do it as printed. With the goal being for your elbow to move as minimally as possible. So let's try that. Double stops first. Lift, and as printed. One thing that's helpful for me when I have these really rapid string crossings is to think horizontally across the string. So the string change is not really an up and down motion, it's an across motion. So let's try that again with that in mind. Double stops first. Now as printed, ready, go. So if you notice that this is a struggle when you pick up your tempo, it's probably because your arm or your wrist are getting a little bit too involved. So at tempo should look like this. So that the motion is very minimal. Again, we don't want to see this. It's just a little bit too much motion. It sounds a little bit hee-hawy, and we don't want that. This is a classical piece. It's not meant for a barn dance. The next measure I want to talk about is measure 18. I actually changed the bowing here. So after we do that G that's tied across the measure, I add a retake to do a down bow on that scale downwards, and then I take out the hooked bowing here. So again, that's starting down, retaking, then all separate. The same exact bowing is going to happen in measure 24. So again, we've got a tied first finger. We're retaking, and then all separate. Okay, in this very same area, we've also got these 4 measure chords, and that's something new for us. So the way that we want to practice these chords is by setting our bow 2 strings at a time. So for measure 19, I'm going to set my bow on the C string and the G string. And then I'm going to make sure that my 1 and 2 are set before my bow pulls. Now luckily in measure 18, we've got notes that kind of set us up for that chord. Your 1 is going to hop to the D string, and you're going to go set your bow on your lower 2 strings. And then all that has to happen is your second finger needs to set right next to your first finger. So let's try that sequence. We're doing the 4 notes before measure 19. 1 hops, bow sets on the lower 2 strings, 2 sets. One more time with that. 1 hops. Now when we pull that chord, again, I'm setting on my lower 2 strings, and then I'm using my elbow to drop to the upper 2 strings. Elbow drops. A lot of people think that they need to use more arm weight when they have double stops, triple stops, quadruple stops, but that's not actually the case. You're just distributing the same amount of weight evenly across 2 strings. So if you're getting this sound, you're pushing too hard. If you're getting this sound, you're not putting quite enough arm weight into the string. So it's the same thing for the chord that we've got later on in measure 25. I'm setting my 1s, and then I'm setting or hopping very quickly to my 2 and my 3. So let's try that again. Set your 1s on the lowest 2 strings, And remember, we're going to imagine that there's an imaginary string that runs between the C string and the G string. We're aiming our finger for that middle. You may need to, again, swing your elbow more towards your belly button to cover that. Set your 2, plop your 3. And again, when we break that, elbow drops. And as we get more comfortable setting those quicker, we can make that change a little bit more legato. So we don't want to hear this for the final product. We want to make it as smooth and connected as possible. And the way that we achieve that is by practicing slowly, separating out those pieces, and then slowly trying to combine them or make them a little bit more legato, less space in between. The next measure I want to discuss is measure 34. We've got a C sharp printed here, and instead of using a high 3 for this, we're going to use a low 4. So in measure 33, we start with 3rd finger. And instead of plopping C sharp when we get to the next measure with a 3, we're going to just use a low 4. Still C sharp. Still 4. This is also really helpful because we've got a 3rd finger on that G, and instead of trying to remember, is it a high 3, is it a regular 3, we don't have to. We're just going to use a low 4 on that C sharp to make our lives a little bit easier. Continuing on in this section in measure 36, we're going to be in half position, which basically means that my first finger is going to go backwards towards the peg box, and that's where our low finger would usually go. That's half position. So our fingering starting in 36 is in half position. We're going to be a 3 on that F sharp, a low 1 on the D sharp, 3 on B, still D sharp, 3 on F sharp. Now here, it gets a little bit tricky. My low 1 has been holding down this whole time, so I'm going to take my 2 and place it right next to that on the A string on B, and then really reach for that D sharp with a low 4. So let's try that whole sequence together, no slurs. Starting 3rd finger on F sharp, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, low 2, low 4, low 2, 3, low 1, 3, 1, 3, low 2, low 4, open. And then we're back in 1st position on that next note, G. So again, I'm going to post that with the fingerings down below, so just check that out, pause the video if you need to, and write it into your own part. Moving on to the next page, we're going to talk about measure 48. So here we've got a bunch of 8th notes printed, and instead of making them all kind of sound the same, that's a little bit rudimentary. We're better than that, right, by this point. We're going to emphasize the notes that change that are not that open D. So I want a little bit faster bow on the B, slow bow. So the D almost doesn't exist. We want to emphasize that melodic line. So for instance, if I didn't have those repeating open Ds, that would be our melodic line. But we do have those Ds interspersed. So again, we're using a faster bow, very little bow, and lifting. Fast, fast, fast. So again, what it feels like almost is like if we're making a check mark. So it's fast, slow with a slight pickup, and reset. Let's try that together. Set your 1st finger, and remember it's fast on every other note. So fast bow, lift set, lift set. And again, it's almost like a check mark. So it's longer, shorter, longer, shorter. We're going to get this later on in the piece as well. So in measure 65, we're going to see this. It's exactly the same as just in treble clef here. Fast, fast bow, fast bow, fast bow. So just know when that repeats, it's the same exact idea. The next section I'd like to talk about is measure 60. So here we're going to see which fingers can I leave down to act as an anchor. So I'm going to start with my 1st finger held down for the entire measure of 60. Leave it down. The whole measure. Next measure, we can't really leave any fingers down. Same in this measure. You might want to leave your 1st finger down, but for me, that causes a little bit more problem than it is helpful. So I'm going to lift my 1 up. Next measure, same idea. We could leave our 1 down, but then we have to hop it to the D string. Freeze here, we're going to shift to 3rd position with a 2. That's one note earlier than is indicated in your part. So let's actually try that together. I'm doing the 4 notes before the treble clef. So this starts on an up bow. Shift here, plop with your first finger, and then your second finger goes down a whole step above that. So starting up bow, shift, and then we're in 3rd position for this next measure. I'm gonna walk us through that in just a second. So we're gonna go back to the beginning of 63 so we can integrate that shift. So the beginning of 63 is. So now we're going to talk about the notes in that next measure that are all in treble clef. So we're starting with our 1 on D. Next note is 4. Next note is 1. Cross over to the D string, high 3. 1, 3. Cross back to the A string, 1, 4. And then just repeats, 1, 4. 1, cross, high 3. 1, 3, 1, 4. Next measure is high 3, 1. And then remember that next measure is still in treble clef. We're actually still in treble clef until we see the alto clef printed about 2 measures later. The last section I want to talk about is measure 71. So here we start in 1st position. Last note, we shift up on the G string to 3rd position on a 2. So remember, all of our shifts, even though we're shifting to a 2, we accomplish that by shifting with our first finger. So we're going to isolate that shift. I'm going to play the B, 2nd finger on the G string, shift to 1, C, and then a whole step higher, 2. You can double check with your open D, did I make that shift? So let's try that again. 2nd finger, shift with 1, plop 2. Great, let's try taking the 1 out of that. We're going to do it but silently. Shift to 1, plop 2. Check with open D. And again, you may have to stop the video and just do that a couple times before you feel comfortable. So once we're in 3rd position, the next measure, I'm going to leave that 2 down because I just have to hop my 3 over to the D string. So my 2's on G, and I'm going to hop a 3 over to the D string. And just leave those fingers down. First finger. I'm still in 3rd position. High 2 on the D string. 1 stays down. Now here I'm finger replacing, so that 2 becomes a 3. And then it's a high 1. So let's try that measure. Again, find 3rd position, find your 1. Hop your high 2 across. All right, leave those 2 fingers down. Freeze, finger replace. Check with your A. Okay, and then it's a high 1 on that B. Stay in 2nd position on the next measure. It's a really close touching 2 across the string. You can check that with your open G to make sure it's in tune, and leave your 1 set. Same idea here. It's a finger replacement back to 1st position. So we're going to go through that whole sequence. We're starting in measure 71, 1st position. Shift. High 3, not touching across the strings. Leave 3 and 2 down. 3 and 1. Stay in 3rd position. High 2. Finger replace. Low 2. Finger replace. And then you're back in 1st position, so that should be a little bit more comfortable. So again, I'm walking through this a little bit quickly with the understanding that you're probably going to stop the video and practice it, and hopefully you do. We never want to practice this kind of lickety-split and just run through it. That's really not going to help us accomplish our goals. Always stop, walk through it slowly, and when you feel like you've got 1 step of that accomplished, then add a little bit more complexity onto that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you found this tutorial useful. If you have any other videos you'd like me to make or questions or comments, please post those below. I really enjoy reading those. Happy practicing.